Carol Burnett, 326, air. Take one. Hit it.
Oh my God, the memories.
You're the guy?
Hey, honey. Well, hello. I'm Carol Burnett, and I'm here at CBS in Los Angeles at Studio 33. Come on in. We shot all 11 seasons of my variety show here. And oh, we made so many great memories.
Told you we never should have left Hungary to come to America. We're gonna starve to death.
Oh, no, Rosie, don't cry. Don't cry. You remember I promised Papa that I'd take care of you and that we'd always stick together.
It is such a trip to be back here, you guys. So much of it has changed, but so much of it hasn't. And I noticed when I walked in the building, it smells the same. Can't tell you what it smells like, but CBS smells like CBS.
This carnation I wave at thee, take a sniff and then kiss me.
On air, 33. Is that great?
On air.
Is that not great?
Yes. Hey, do you know where that roller is that we had? I think
You're gonna love living in this building. The neighbors are so helpful.
Each time I get goosebumps when I come back to this stage because of the wonderful memories.
I just want to be near you.
And I with you.
Come into this big door here and come out on stage, and usually it goes down and sit in the audience and watch the rehearsals, and then when it's our turn, we'd climb up on stage and hit our marks and do camera blocking, and it was a lot of fun. It was a long day. We did 2 shows in one day.
Unhand that woman.
And who are you, pray tell?
Sergeant Jack Strongheart, to their rescue. Come into my arms, fair beauty.
What is this strange passion I feel? Satan is pulling me towards his arms. Satan is pulling me towards his lips. Get thee behind me, Satan, and push.
Now, if the dress rehearsals went better than the air show, they would use a sketch from there and put it into the air show, because that's when a lot of the breakups happened. And the breakups seemed to be very, very popular with the audience. And that resulted in a lot of laughs.
I don't know whether to join the Foreign Legion or kill myself.
This is my dressing room, and right out here was where the cue card guys were. Of course, we never read them.
I hate you. I hate your flower.
Savage.
That flower that keeps walking around. I'll give you savage. Where does it say he has the line savage?
You must have played 100 parts in pictures, from clean-cut college kid to dirty rat. I loved you in them all, but the one thing I recall...
I saw him running. I ran because he wasn't there with the cards, and he finally got out. That's terrific. Oh, that's funny. On Thursdays, they would cook meals right out here. They were gourmet cooks, our cue card boys.
and hot chicken soup.
Oh, how hot is it?
Don't worry, it wouldn't burn yourself.
Oh, then I don't want any.
Try it, you'll like it.
I don't want any.
Don't holler on me, you little pipsqueak. Listen, you eat it. You're not too old for a spanking.
The crews were amazing. They could set these things up, and the camera people, we had 5 cameras, and they would hit their marks, and they were funny guys, those cameramen. It was, everybody was a joker.
I brush my teeth at least 6 or 7 times a day. And go home and pick yours up off the bedside table. Yes, sir.
Do you enjoy being TV's new sex symbol?
Did you hear him? How did I enjoy being TV's new sex symbol? Isn't that divine?
Male or female?
Thank you for asking that, Uncle George.
He's such a smart mouth. How come you don't fire him?
That's our drunk cameraman, Pat.
These were the wings, you know, we'd be back here, and the stage hands, and then of course out there was the stage. But I remember waiting here a lot to go on before a finale with some of the guest stars.
Hey, big spender! Spend a little time with when you are near me. Happy. You always cheer me. Happy. All the time.
That's what I am.
You make my life sublime.
The orchestra was over there. It was a band shell, it wasn't a pit. And we had a 28-piece orchestra led by first Harry Zimmerman and then the wonderful Peter Mass. And that doesn't exist anymore today. 28-piece orchestra, unheard of. You know, they got all the synthesizers and stuff like that.
This was the star dressing room.
My dressing room, the windows are all broken and smashed through, and the mosquitoes are eating me alive. I will never, never forgive you for booking us into this barn way out in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere? This is off Broadway.
Nebraska.
Back in the day, where this flat screen is, there was a piano, and Red Skelton was sitting there, tinkling on the piano, because we used to share the stage with him when we first started. I snuck my head around the door. He said, "Come on in." He listened to my whole story about how I'd met Carol and that I was going to be on her new show. And he used to love to write music. He would just doodle. That was how he would relax. So he had this piece of sheet music he was working on. He scribbled Vicky across the top of it. He signed it. He handed it to me, and he wished me good luck.
Now remember, when you get out there, be feminine, helpless, and slump.
Masculine and stand up straight.
Hi, Willie. My God.
The guest stars would be in their dressing room.
Ooh.
There was a little green room sometimes where we would convene.
It is really a great thrill to have you on our show.
Well, it's a thrill to be here.
We did the show so quickly, there wasn't much hanging around. We did it like a Broadway show every week. A musical comedy review every week.
How many times have you heard some performers say, "Gee, but it's great to be back here on an old Broadway"?
And we would tape it maybe an hour and 15 minutes with all of the costume changes, all of the musical numbers, all of the different sketches in about 2 hours.
It's 2 o'clock. You must leave. It's getting late.
It's later than you think. Do you think you can really get me all purdied up for the ball?
Oh, yes, the ball, the ball. Well, let me take a good look at you. Yuck. Why do I get all the toughies?
Oh, I sure do hope you can make me the belle of the ball.
Well, if not the bell, at least the ding-ling. Okay, boom, 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 chicka-boom. When I count to 3, boom, 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 chicka-boom. Make her as pretty as me. 1, 2, 3.
Golly!
Bob Mackie, he did 60 to 70 costumes a week. Unheard of. Unheard of today. He would watch the show, but he would get the script for the following week on Friday night, and then he had a workshop where he worked, not in this studio.
You know, I saw the things that Cher had on, and I feel like, you know, the thing, I feel like an old frump. And I thought this was short. I felt very self-conscious about it. And then I thought what I would do, I wanted to get I want to see my cute little underwear.
In 1971, Sonny and Cher premiered on the stage next door to us. And when you're taping, they slam these big, huge, heavy doors shut. So if you wanted to see what Cher was wearing on any given night, if somebody said, oh my God, you've got to see Cher's gown, here's where we go. And you guys, I came in here today, I couldn't believe it looks exactly the same. Of course, how would you know? You're a guy. Look, oh, I'm sorry, hold that, just hold that thought. We'll be out of here in just 1 second. So here you go running through, you wouldn't disturb anybody. And here you go on Sonny and Cher's stage. Then you'd go running up there and you'd turn around up the stage and you could see what she was wearing.
Sonny and Cher are dying to hear the song that we wrote for
The song
them.
that we...
Yeah.
Well, what'll I tell Simon and Garfunkel?
Well, you tell them to write their own stuff. They're gonna do our song. Hit it, Harry.
Do you remember Sonny and Cher?
Oh, yes. Sonny was a tall one.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Jim Neighbors was next door one time, Glenn Campbell.
Smothers Brothers were down here.
A lot of big shows being done here at CBS.
Murph is out here to do his show. How long?
I did it already, and you were my first guest on my first night.
Oh! Well, that's right. This is
You were terrific.
It was wonderful being on your show.
Yeah, it was good to have you.
It's so. Oh.
This was a room where during the show, the writers and the producers would sit in here and watch the show on the monitor and take notes, especially the first show, the dress rehearsal, and then we would get our notes and improve, we would hope, for the second show at 8 o'clock.
How many times do you rehearsal?
How many times we don't. We just come in and do what we feel like. No, we start working. We started working on this last Tuesday, and here we are, and we still don't know what we're doing.
Over there was Harvey's dressing room, right over here.
Mr. Kensington?
Come in, please.
Well, this is quite an honor for me, sir. In the 2 years that you've been starring in this play, you've never talked to me.
Well, my dear boy, you can't expect Clive Kensington to have the time to speak to all of the little people backstage.
Yes, sir.
What is it you do?
I'm the director.
And at one point, Harvey sometimes would get into moods, and but he was always wonderful. But he would get into a sad mood every once in a while. So I had a sign made up for his dressing room door, Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. And he loved that.
You wish Harvey would answer?
Oh, honey, I am just a gorgeous flamenco dancer at the local cantina, but one who has seen you many times and always admired your bravery.
I've seen you many times also, senorita. And I've always admired your castanets. Mucho gusto.
Vicki was upstairs. That was her dressing room up there.
This was my dressing room. It's been redecorated a lot. It's probably been redecorated many times. Now there's a safe and a little flat screen. Like back in the 60s.
Hello there, handsome. Care for something intoxicating?
No, Jack. Tell her you belong to me.
I am torn between good and evil. Shall I choose this young and innocent maiden and a lifetime of sweet matrimony? Or shall I throw away my life for 1 hour of mad passion? Sweetheart!
Yes!
I'll be back in an hour.
Lyle was across the hall.
For a mastermind, you're pretty stupid. Huh? Yeah, you talk to me like that, I'll let you have one right from the floor.
Never mind, Rocky. Get that drill back up.
I'll hit you right in the... I'll put you right away. Oh.
Come on, let's get started.
Right.
And Tim was across the hall when he became a regular.
I dressed in my car.
Yeah, it was really funny. We were so stupid. Tim was on as a guest so often, and it wasn't until the 9th season that we said, why don't you come on every week? Duh, the penny dropped.
Nice bed, isn't it, folks?
Sure is, yeah. That's something. Hey, Charlene.
Yes?
I've had it up to here.
This is the first time I've ever been in this building, so I...
Stop it.
No.
Where was your dressing room, Conway?
Up there.
Seriously? Across the hall upstairs?
Yeah.
It was not.
I say, come on.
Yeah, I'm too scared.
Oh, you was, huh? Show you how to overcome your fear, little guy. Now. Didn't do me any good either.
I used to spend a lot of time back in the booth with the directors, watching them shoot the show.
This was the control booth. Our directors and associate directors, script girls sat here, and over here against the wall, the producers and the head writer would sit, and they'd watch the show. There were no big monitors like there are in here today. It was all glass, so they could see us on the stage. And many times I could see them when I was on the stage too. There was one time when a lady, she wrote a song, and I brought her up on stage.
What's your name? Sue. Sue. Hi, Sue what? Yeah, sure, come on. Sue what?
Vogelsanger.
Sue Vogelsanger. I can see it on the marquee now.
And she gave it to me, and I said, okay, tell you what, you come back next week, and I will sing your song. And I could see them in the booth here, and they were all waving white handkerchiefs. Don't do that, are you crazy?
Just talking.
It's about, you know, how tired housewives get every now and then.
How tired housewives get every now and then.
And this is what one would like to do.
And this is what one would like to do.
Yeah,
it's
kind of
a
escape.
dirty song. Oh, would you want to sing it?
Oh, no.
Are
I
you
want
sure,
you to
Sue? Well, listen, I tell you what, maybe next week, we'll see. I'll learn it if you want to come back, and I'll do it for you.
Would you?
Sure. You want to? In questions and answers. If you, we're on the up and up. I don't know Sue Vogelsanger. If you want
said
to
the
do
name
that,
very well, I
and
must
I'll try to learn it.
And we did, though. We did that lady's song, and then for weeks afterwards, we kept getting people submitting songs for us to do. But I remember them waving white handkerchiefs. Don't do that, don't do that. God, this brings back memories. Woof.
This is your song, Sue Vogelsanger.
So this is the ending of my little song. I have to get going, can't wait too long. Time is a wasting, so make haste, I say, while hubby's asleep. Got a promise to keep. Gonna take me a trip by a plane or a ship. While the kids have gone outside to play.
To be back on this stage feels wonderful. It seems like yesterday, and yet it seems like 100 years ago.
Very colorful.
So please split the difference.
It's sure good to see her again.
When you say the name Carol Burnett, the first thing that comes to mind is, it's my chum. She's my very, very good friend. I've known her for, I don't want to count how many years it is, but She's such a lovely lady and so warm and special and loyal and funny and brave. I could say all those things, but basically, first and foremost, my chum. I had a manager at that time. It was probably about 1957, 58, something like that. And a manager said, there's a lovely young lady that I think you would adore, and I'm going to set up a meeting for the two of you. And it's usually the kiss of death, you know, you say, oh yes, oh yes. But I went to see her show, and it must have been a Sunday matinee or something, and we went out to supper afterwards to a Chinese restaurant. There were 4 of us in the restaurant, 4 of us, and I don't think they got a word in edgeways. You know, Carol and I bonded instantly, never stopped talking, and I can't tell you exactly what we spoke about. It was just everything in life and work and who we were, but it was just the loveliest meal, full of fun, and it wasn't long after that she and I got together on the Gary Moore Show, and then eventually did the huge special, huge for us, at Carnegie Hall. I think if I could say that it felt as if 2 kids who lived on the same block suddenly discovered that they did. And it was like, you too? And I feel that as well. And her background, although we're from different countries, was not that dissimilar to mine. And I just felt such empathy and just a real bonding instantly. We became firm friends, like 2 teenage kids would do, and it's never changed. I watched her show all the time, every chance I could get. I think I was so busy that I wasn't. We did see each other occasionally, all during those great, great years when she was on her show, but over the 11 years that she was working on it, for some reason I never got to do it, and I don't know why. Maybe we felt it was better to save it for the specials together and store up what we could offer. That might have been one of the reasons. One of the sweet things that would happen is that there was a local hamburger hamlet in our vicinity where I lived, and with Blake, I would take my kids to a regular Wednesday night supper, no matter what, if I could. And it seems Carol did too, and quite often I'd see her with her group, her family at a table, and we'd just chum up or say hello. And there was one wonderful day, I don't know if Carol's told you this, my daughter Emma and her daughter Carrie, we sometimes pooled all our kids and sat at the same table at Hamburger Hamlet. And one day, Emma said, "Oh dear, I dropped my napkin." And Carrie leaned across to Emma and said, "Emma, it's not Natkim, it's Napkim," she said. And it was terribly proper. And so, "Oh," said Emma, and we both roared with laughter. Natkin and Napkim, yes. Having been so successful on the Julian Carroll specials, we were asked to do one of those great 10-minute, 18-minute medleys for the inauguration gala of Lyndon Johnson. And so we went down to Washington the day before, and we rehearsed with the orchestra, and got back to the hotel, and our very good friend, Mike Nichols, was coming in to do a sketch with Elaine May. And Mike called us and said, "I'm going to be arriving kind of late, but I'm coming in tonight on the train. Could we get together at the end of the evening and just have a cup of tea or hot chocolate or something?" And we said, "Of course, it would be great." So Carol and I waited and waited and waited, and again, the weather was terrible, which was boded well for us. And we kind of almost gave up on Mike. We thought the weather must have had something to do with it, and indeed it did. His train was horribly delayed. So we got into our pajamas and chatted and just had a silly time. And just as we were going to, shut down for the night, so to speak, the phone rang and it was Mike. He said, I just got in. Is it too late? No, come on. So he said, I'm coming right away. He hung up the phone, and Carol and I looked at each other and we said, why don't we go down the hall to meet him at the elevator? There's nobody around at this hour. And so we padded down in our slippers and our dressing gowns down the rather dimly lit hall to the elevators. And right in front of the elevators was a big sofa. It was a big square hallway. And there were 3 doors of elevators. And we sat on the sofa side by side, and we felt rather foolish suddenly and said, well, let's do something silly for Mike when he comes down, because he said he'd be right away. So I said, I tell you, I don't know which one of us actually. She swears it was me. I swear it was her. Whatever it was, one of us said, I know, let's be kissing so that when he comes out of the elevator, he'll see something silly. So the elevator went ping. I bent her over my lap and pretended to indulge in a huge, passionate kiss. And the doors of the elevator opened, and it was packed with Secret Service guys who didn't get out, but they just looked horribly surprised. And you could see as the doors closed, they sort of said, am I seeing what I'm really seeing? We collapsed with laughter. It seemed so stupid and foolish and silly. But the elevator went ping, and Mike was coming, so I flung her across my knee again. And Carol says Lady Bird Johnson stepped out, and I'm not sure about it, but anyway, she took one look at us two kissing on the sofa in our pajamas, and she walked down the hall, and I watched, and I could see her stiffen. She turned around and she came back. Carol had crawled around the sofa behind it in some kind of, she was so mortified, and she was weeping with laughter. And this dear lady leaned over the sofa. I was left sitting there. And she said, excuse me, are you Carol Burnett? And from the back of the sofa, Carol said, yes, and this is my friend Mary Poppins, she said. Oh, God. The lady went to her room. The elevator went ping. I dragged Carol around from the back, tried it one more time, and indeed it was Mike. And he got out of the elevator and saw us kissing, and he just said, oh, hi, girls, and walked on down the corridor. Because it was just unabashed, unashamedly fun. I mean, she was so free and brave. She tried things. I would watch the show sometimes and think, oh, my God, I would never have dared to do anything like that. But she just went all out on it. And of course, the company that she had around her, Tim and Harvey and everybody on that show were just so great. And she had such a good time, and she felt safe doing it because her husband was producing it. So I think all of that contributed to her being just so freewheeling and easy. And she's so lovable. That's the thing about Carol. She's got this quality about her that's just adorable. You can't help falling in love with her, I don't think. Well, the wonder is that generation after generation can discover her again and anew. And those shows were worthy of being preserved and aired again. They were very well written. They accomplished in 1 hour more songs, more dances, more spoofs, more skits, more comedy, more genuine realness on Carol's part, the Q&As that she would do and all of that. They just were well done. And I think the public had stood the test of time, and the public adored her, still does, adores her, and as do we all. I'd probably ask her to do the Tarzan yell for me, as so many people do. She once fought off a would-be mugger by feeling that somebody had come up behind her, and she turned around and gave this huge Tarzan yell, and he just reeled back and bolted. So it stood her in good stead.
Well, what happened was CBS actually didn't want me to do a variety show. I had a contract that I had signed 5 years before. It was actually a 10-year contract with CBS that I would do a special, that I would do one special and 2 guest shots a year for 10 years. But then it was a weird part of the contract. I don't think anybody ever had it before. Certainly nobody ever had it since. But I had a very good agent at the time who said, okay, if within the first 5 years of the 10-year contract, if Carol wants to do a 1-hour variety show, all she would have to do is push a button, and CBS would have to put it on, whether they wanted to or not. Now that was pretty bizarre. And I said, oh, I wouldn't know how to host a variety show. I know I'll never push that button. Okay. 5 years passed, and not quite 5 years. It was the last week of the 5th year, Christmas to New Year's. And my husband and I we were sitting on orange crates. We just put a down payment on a house in California. And we said, you know what? Maybe we'd better push that button. So we picked up the phone and we called CBS vice president in New York. And he said, hey, Carol, how's it going? Merry Christmas. You guys are... And I said, Mike, I'm calling because I want to push that button. He went, huh? He did not remember. I didn't expect him to, but I said, well, you know where if I want to do a variety show, you would have to put it on the air for 30 1-hour shows, pay or play. He said, oh, yeah, well, let me get back to you. So I'm sure he got a lot of lawyers out of Christmas parties that night, holiday celebrations. And he called back the next day and he said, oh, yeah, I see that's in the, but Carol, variety is a man's game. It's Sid Caesar, it's Jackie Gleason, it's Milton Berle, it's Dean Martin now, and all. He said, we have this great sitcom we'd love you to do called Here's Agnes. Can you picture it? Here's Agnes, I said, no, I love variety. I learned about variety by doing the Gary Moore Show. I really they had to put us on the air. And they did not think that we would last very long at all. I wasn't sure that we would, but I knew I wanted to do variety. I didn't want to be the same person week after week in a sitcom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I love music. I love the excitement of guest stars. I love a rep company. I love doing sketches and being different characters every single week. That was the fun. And so what we, in essence, mounted was a musical comedy review every single week. And that's how it came about. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted an opening number, perhaps, a bunch of sketches, guest stars, the rep company, and we knew how we were going to close the show. We would, I'd sing the song that Joe had written. He was a musician and composer before he became the producer. I'm so glad we had this time together. And then I was always an autograph nut, so I wanted to get the guest stars to autograph my book. As far as the opening goes, I did not want to get out there by myself, as myself, and to do questions and answers. That idea came from Bob Banner, who was one of our executive producers, who said, Carol, if you're going to be blacking out your teeth, putting on fat suits, fright wigs, and so forth during the show, the audience should get to know who you are first. And then you can go do all that crazy stuff. And I was terrified. I said, but I didn't. He said, well, we'll put some plants in the audience, planted questions. But I didn't want that. I wanted it to be honest. And so I said, okay, I'll go out and I'll try it a couple of times, but if I'm not comfortable with it, let's bury it, And so I did. And the first time I came out on stage, I remember I had this terrible short haircut, so short. I looked like I was going to be in the Marines or something. And I came out. There was no play on with the orchestra or anything. I just kind of came out and I was like real gangly and all, And I was terrified that, first of all, that nobody would ask a question. And then I was terrified that if they did, I wouldn't have a snappy answer, you know, or what to do. But some kind soul said, "Who's on tonight?" So I explained it was my good luck charm, Jim Neighbors, who's my buddy. And I explained who